Welcome everyone to another episode of our Code Along series where we are trying to code a fuel trailer script. Previous episode, reattach logic, refueling logic, those were our objectives, and I said in this episode we will look at our refueling animation. Right, looking back at everything we did a bunch of things, right? Sorted out our menus, our release nozzle from a vehicle, that is something we did, and we haven't gotten to testing everything yet, but we've gotten to the point where we set the nozzle to the vehicle and nothing really happened when we did that except it printing something in console. However, this time we finished the detaching and reattaching logic, and the rest of it would be to play an animation. Right. Now, what I do want... detached fueling, yeah, that would have to be set, otherwise we'll never have the correct detach fueling variable, and that is probably why we never had this detach fueling happening. Right. Where else? Yeah. I mean, we also set it here, so it should be good in that regard. Let me just look at this. Okay, so perfectly fine. By default, it is set to false. And now let us look at the animation. Right. Standard with the cubic core recipe comes legacy fuel. From what I know, legacy fuel does basically the attached refueling. Those are only the functions. Source, client. Okay. Manage fuel usage. Does that thing is paid in a vehicle. Manage fuel usage. Okay. Pump distance. Right. Then start fuel uptick. Pump object paired vehicle. When is this triggered, or how many times? So refuel from pump. Let us see what this does. Task turn paired to face entity paired vehicle 1000. Let's see what the native tells us. So that is what happens if you have the attached refueling. Task head. What is it called? Task turn. My bad. Task turn to face a coordinate or to face an entity. Duration, the amount of time in milliseconds to do the task until either task is applied or kill task is called with the PED. Okay. Right. So let us see what happens. We face the vehicle. That takes a second. We wait a second. Setting the current PED weapon to something. Let's see. Set current paired weapon hash, and force in hand. Okay. task play anim filling can. Then we trigger an event while is fueling. We disable control actions, so we disable keys. And then it draws text, current fuel, current cost. That makes sense. And then if we are not playing an animation, we play the animation. And then if is control just released. So if we press E, it basically cancels fueling. We clear the pet tasks and remove animation dictionary. Okay, so this logic is definitely valuable. So let's just open up to the side. So we'll use our fueling variable and we will probably call it is fueling, just to have it make more logical sense. Okay. Now there is another thing I want to look at. I want to look at the config disable keys. What keys are disabled while you're refueling? Let us copy that. And then head into our own config. Config customize. So maybe let us add something here. Okay, and this would be nozzle.disable keys. Yeah, let's do that. And then just paste it in. We just think, okay, yeah, let's copy that like that. No problem, just paste it in there. And we delete that, save disable keys. Right. Okay, so they only run it in an event. An event is triggered and then it creates a little while loop. So similar to a thread, but not completely. Let's see, we have a function controlling our refuel stuff, right? Refuel timer. Let's just see where we call this because I'm thinking of something here. Right, set nozzle to vehicle and refuel timer. Right. So, okay, that is only done in 2 places. Refuel timer. There's only a weight of 0 in our while loop. I'm just thinking, like, how does it delay? How does it determine how quickly we are refueling? Right, so let's stick with our refuel timer. And then we do this if full, my bad, if full then is fueling equals false. And so if the vehicle is full, we just tell it we can't refuel anymore, therefore is fueling has to be false. Right. So while not full. Yeah, it's fine. Let's wait. After we've waited, we tell it is fueling is true. I do know that I misspelt it. Is fueling is true, so we are refueling. Once we are full, we are not refueling. Right. And that should do its thing. We may or may not have issues with the logic later on, but I'm pretty certain that we'll be quite safe with it. Right, then we can go into our play animation section and we can do something similar. So we will do a task, turn ped to face entity, right? It would be our ped. Let us actually create a local for it. Let's call it ped ID is equal to player ped ID. Right, we can cut that out and paste it in here, so we can copy that and paste it in there. Right, ped ID to face the entity, that is the ped. We are going to face towards the model, which is our vehicle from get closest vehicle. And yeah, let's keep it to 1,000 milliseconds. Right. This waits for 1,000. I'm pretty okay with the logic they have, because I have used Legacy Fuel before, so I'm pretty okay with what they did. So we're gonna load an anim dict, right? And we are just gonna load the garden filling can animation dictionary. And we will do task play anim. Right, and I'm just gonna borrow what is inside and paste it. Right, ped ID, and that should sort that out. Now, they have a trigger event, start fuel uptick, and just based on this, right, let's put a pin in it, but just based on that, I'm assuming that it is very similar to our refuel timer. And yeah, exactly. Set, well, we don't care about ped ammo, but it's basically refueling the car with different logic. I'm not going to get into that because I'm happy with the logic I wrote, and for as long as it is doing what it's supposed to, I'm okay with it as is, right? Now we're gonna do while is fueling, right? Do, and we're gonna have an extensive list here. So for all in control index. What is control index? In pairs. Control index is the variable we assign the values of config dot nozzle dot disable keys, right? Then we have a do end. Okay, within this we will disable control action. I'm aware I misspelled it. Control action. What are we disabling? 0 must be summing. I'm not sure what it is. We can check. And then control index and true. So disable control action. Disable control action. Let's see. Disable control action. Pad index, that is the key, I believe. I have no clue actually. Let's see, disable. Okay, disable just means true would be disabling it. Okay, cool. Needs to be executed each frame. That is why they wait 0 milliseconds. Right, that is how you repeat something each frame. Now, let us look at this logic real quick. If pump object, then they basically draw some text. Right. Yeah. I mean, we could do something similar. Right. Could do something similar. We yeah, we don't need an if statement for it. We can just draw text, and we have the ped position, the bone index of the petrol cap. We have the ped position. So F nozzle. Right, so let's use our attach nozzle coordinates to local coordinates is get world position of that. We will do the same thing, right? And we will just write the text at the position where we attach the thing, and that is interesting. We can't do this here. Why? Because even though it's running every tick and we do need to write the text every tick, it won't work because we'll need to get the current fuel level, and I believe the current fuel level is contained within the thread we have at the bottom, so that isn't going to work. Right, so let's skip that for now. If is enter t playing anim who, we are talking about the ped ID, is our ped playing this animation, right? If he's not playing the animation, then we make him play the animation, right? Ped ID. Now, just confirming that the values are the same. Right, if he's not playing it, we force him to play it. And then if is control just released, right, 38, which is E, or does entity exist, get Tackman, get ped and vehicle seat. Or then end. Let me just confirm for end, if end, so that's unnecessary. Then is fueling is false. Okay. And then we wait our one frame. Right. So the one frame wait is purely for the disable control and technically for the draw text, because you have to do that every frame. Now, let me just think here. because there's some other things we might need, right? If we just release the control, is fueling is false, and then that'll make our little loop null and void. So let me just pin that and refuel timer. Right, so over here we have a current level, a multiplier, and a difference. However, none of these are defined outside of this function, so there's no way for this part to know at what stage it is, right? So the best way is to just look for a key press, right? And then in our thread where we create this entity, as soon as we leave the range of the rope, I want us to also make is fueling false, just in case the car drives off with the nozzle in it. So yes, larger than 7.5, I know is what it's called. Yeah, immediately is fueling false, straight up. Here as well is fueling is false. Awesome sauce, right? This is a trailer, so T-nos taken false. Right. I was just looking because every time I switched there was a difference in the text. So I was just trying to figure out what was missing, and it turns out T-nos taken was missing. So just making sure that that is saved. Right. I think that should be sufficient for us to be able to test. I won't get into it now, otherwise we might have a bit of a longer session. So we will test this in the following episode, and we'll do some debugging if needed. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and I know I didn't thank you guys in the beginning of the video today, but thank you so much for those interacting with the videos, especially a big shout out to Banza Gaming for being so adamant and you know, consistent with his interactions in the videos. I really appreciate you, mate. Yeah, I do hope everyone enjoys these videos. All the support can be found in the Discord, which is linked below. And thank you. That is all I can say. I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.